generation tools. Oh, cool. Okay. That saves me recording. There are different tools. One's called Midjourney, Dolly. I'm sure you might have heard of Midjourney, and Dolly's another one. Those ones are paid services, and they're slightly better for different type of tools. Or the other one's Adobe. So, for example, if you want to manipulate existing photos, Adobe's great for that. But we're going to start today with just Stable Diffusion, and this website is free. I will toss it in the link after I take a break here. Um, but just so that you guys can jump in and start creating images right away. So I've queued up a few images that I thought might be interesting. I've had a few requests from people around me, but the first one I thought might be kind of fun and interesting to do would be combining a T-Rex with a golden retriever. Now, normally in other image generation platforms, you have to indicate the style that you want to do. In this case here, this website, they actually allow you to narrow it down. So say they want to do it more like a 3D Disney character, although I don't really, well, this one's more like a 3D Disney character, I guess. Um, but in other generations, you can actually go further and say that you wanted to make it photorealistic. I'm sure you guys seen images of, real life photos. Okay, I like this one up here. That's kind of neat. Um, let's try something a little bit more painted anime. Here we go. Okay. What's going on here? I'll show some ones where you can do it with realism. Yeah. Oh, this one's not bad, but as you can also see, sometimes AI screws up, specifically with hands and feet. That's one of the biggest challenges. If anyone's an artist, they know that even human artists have struggled for the longest time trying to draw hands. It's just something that human beings and computers can't seem to get right. And you'll notice that here, there's a few. So sometimes you're gonna have to tailor it. You have to play around and try a few, but that's part of the fun because in the process of trying new ideas, you also end up seeing some concepts that you might have not ever dreamed of. And when they say AI kills creativity, I tend to disagree because as long as you use it in a way that's a launching pad. So, for example, if you are a professional artist, for example, you would probably know that sometimes trying to think up an idea is very difficult. And even though you don't want to use AI to create that original piece of art, you want to design it yourself, AI can actually help you with some ideas, help you conceptualize things that your brain just hasn't gone around to thinking about or you haven't had a chance to meditate on. Let's try this here. Painted anime. Let's see if we can make this a little bit more realistic. Uh, oh, interesting. So we got a female Batman here. Okay. So this again, which I will add on there, is a free tool to create images. And from there, we're going to actually find one that we can use to generate videos out of. So to take it one step further, we'll go and create videos. Now, Simon, which one was the best platform for videos? I forget now. What
Uh, I
using
like Pika.
Pika?
Uh, yeah, but Luma Dream Machine is good, and then of course Sora, which is part of ChatGPT,
Pika Labs is free, right?
Pika has some free credits you get. Yeah,
Yeah, okay. I'll just try creating account. And one thing we always tell people is try to avoid using um, sorry, I got a million different emails here. We'll try this one. Try to create as many free accounts as you can. AI AI platforms are still very new, so a lot of companies are trying to um sorry guys. That's
you work on that, Cal. I'll finish what you're saying there. So
yeah.
yeah, in general, most of these tools they use what's called a freemium model. So basically, that means you get access to usually the base model for free, but beyond that, there'll be kind of restrictions as to how many times you can use it, or some of the maybe more advanced features that those tools will offer. So what I have been doing since I started using AI, 2 years ago, is I have a handful of different Google accounts, and when I want to use a tool, I'll max out my usage on all my different Google accounts for free. And usually I can complete my project without having to spend any money. So that's really, really a nice strategy to just get the most use out of these tools without having to invest anything.
Thank you, Simon. Well said. Okay. I'll try one more image that I want to, let's go with this one, see what happens. So I'm going to save this image and put it into this folder. And well, I'll put it in first so you guys can see, but I do want to mention that there are tons of websites that you can use to get what they call prompts. If you're not familiar with AI, one of the skills needed in the future is how to actually ask AI, or how to ask AI the right things to get the best results. And sometimes you see some of the most beautiful AI art. It takes a certain the correct wording to get it right, and people like to share them. And there's lots of websites. Where is this? Sorry, guys. Well, okay, I'll just grab a random photo, maybe one from the original presentation I had. I had this young gentleman here. Let's see here. So, young boy holding glowing orb, looking at it. Amazement. And
Cal, before you hit enter,
yeah,
copy that text, select it and copy it to your clipboard.
yeah.
Because you're going to have to switch the model, and it's going to delete your prompt when you do that. So
yeah. Thanks, Simon. Zoom out the camera. Okay.
So you'll see it in the bottom right that says 2.2 beneath a little bunny rabbit.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You're going to have to select 1.5, which is the free. Yeah.
Okay.
And then paste that back in.
That's, by the way, guys, why we need 3 people to present, because we are incomplete as one, or at least I am. Okay. Let's see what happens. So there's a bit of a high demand. So why don't while we do this, I know let's maybe take a break. I think Deji, you had some interesting use cases. If any of you guys are more entrepreneur, or you guys like to use these designs in a more practical fashion, I think Deji had some good real life examples of how you can apply this for conceptual work. Deji, I hope I'm not throwing
absolutely. Oh, no.
Fire here.
It's good timing.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. My name is Deji. I will be walking, just like Calvi said, I'll be walking you through some use cases for education and business as well. So for those who weren't here yesterday, I've also added a couple of things for this presentation, more on the entrepreneurial side, besides just, because yesterday was mostly just educational and, studying and interview preparation, things like that. But I'll go over those as well, but I'll lean as well into the entrepreneur side. I'm going to share my screen here 1 second.
Yeah, so anyone who's been thinking about maybe starting a business or just getting into business in general, this will be really good topic for you guys to pay attention to. Deji is very knowledgeable in this area.
But yes, actually, yeah, to Simon's point, I did run an online business previously. So actually, you know what? I feel like I was ahead of my time. I wish, now was the time when I was actually, deep into business, because AI wasn't around, 5, 6 years ago.
You and me both.
Just gonna see how to share my screen here. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, Claude.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Claude.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I wanted to just touch upon LLMs again. Um, right now, I have Claude and Gemini open, and the use case for this, of course, like yesterday, like I said, studying and getting feedback. So, for example, teach me the basic concepts of algebra.
And Deji, maybe do you want to give a quick
Mhm.
definition of large language model and some other?
Yes, thank you. Yes, so language models essentially are, if you can imagine the entire internet condensed into a zip file or into a folder, and then on top of that folder, there's a conversational chat agent, right, that has access to that information. So, and when you query or ask questions or requests of this large language model or this chatbot, it pulls upon all the data again from essentially the entire internet, because it scraped they scraped the entire internet. This was about most of these large language models are up to date, perhaps about a year back. So most of the time you wouldn't get more recent information
Yeah, if I
unless
can jump
you
in, you're using big words
probably
for
big
my little
words.
layman brain. I was just gonna say it's just a really, 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 really smart person, really, really smart that knows everything that's on the internet. This is the best way to
And
understand.
and, and kind
That
of
that
I would add
works.
as well. Most of you guys have probably heard of ChatGPT, but ChatGPT is not the only large language model out there. It's just the most well-known one. So Deji is going to walk through some of these
Exactly.
other really powerful models here today.
And by the way, these are also just the free tiers, just like Carl mentioned before. And there's really no reason to be paying for these unless you're getting some real use out of it. Most of these, the free tier would actually give you some good functionality. So this is Claude. So I can just say, teach me the basic concepts of algebra, and then it just pulls upon that knowledge, and I click on enter, and basically it explains it to me, right? If I had something more specific, you know, let's
Just
say I want, go
sorry,
ahead.
just for my own benefit too, because it's been forever, and since I
Mhm.
am such a layman, could you say I haven't studied algebra in 20 years, which is not a lie. Could you explain it to me like I'm a 10-year-old, in very simple terms to help me, you know, or in simple terms, just
Yeah, and maybe even after that, Cal, you use the example of explaining complex theories in terms of macaroni and cheese on our other webinars. That would be a fun one just to show as well. Let's do the same kind of concept, but using macaroni and cheese theme or concept to describe it.
I'm
Hmm.
actually very eager to see how it actually how it does that. But let's see. So yeah, this is the explanation here. I'm going to take this off screen. So essentially, it's like a puzzle game with numbers. I mean, it didn't really feel much like a game when I went through it like that, but we don't know what the number is, so we call it X. And then algebra helps us find out what the number is, right? So again, really fun, really down to earth explanation. Let me ask Simon's question. Use macaroni and cheese to
help him.
explain this concept. So imagine you're making a macaroni and cheese, your favorite dish. In algebra, we use letters like X. Where variables are like your ingredients. In algebra, we use letters like X when we don't know a number. And it's just like when you're looking in the cupboard and you don't know exactly how many macaroni noodles you have. So we call the amount M. And then equations are like recipes. Actually, that's a really good way to put it.
Mhm.
If your recipe says you
Yeah.
need 2 cups of macaroni to feed 4 people, you can write it as M equals 2 cups.
Hmm.
So as you can see, it's very versatile and adaptable.
Mhm.
So I mean, just from this alone, you can tell that it understands the request that you're making fundamentally, and you don't need any rigid, you don't have to say do this exactly this way. You can understand just regular human language, right? So besides just asking it original questions, you can ask a question based on information that you already have, right? So you can, if you have a textbook or if you have a particular problem that you want to solve, let's say
And even what you can do is you can, in many cases, you can actually just take a photo of the work you're doing and upload that photo. That way you don't have to type it all out too.
That is true. So with what Simon is explaining, it's best to probably just get the mobile app. That way you can take a picture with your phone. So very, very, very powerful. There's another for this particular use case, if what you're trying to solve is math and just understand equations better, there's another tool that is specifically for this. So it's called Quanda. It has math. So it's a you might call it like a custom GPT essentially. Well, which is just a specialized type of large language model like Claude that I just showed you. So if you click on math here, again, this is basically middle school math equations. So it would prompt you, right? It can test you on these equations. So if you're trying to study, and I'll take this out of the way. If you're trying to study, you can go through something like this. You can try to solve it on your own. Let's say this, for example. And then once when you think you've gotten the actual answer, then you can ask it to solve it for you. Right? And there are other modules as well and subjects within this LLM, which is large language model. So it walks you through how to solve the equation step by step, and then it gives you the eventual answer here at the bottom. Okay. And then you can also look at concepts, understand the solution process. You can basically look at the whole thing, and then you can try other questions that are similar to one that you just tested yourself on. So that's another way to use these models. If the task that you're presented with is more of something that you have to research, like let's say it's a dense piece of information, maybe 2 pages worth of information, you can use something like Notebook LM. So Notebook LM is essentially, this is the website. It's just a portal where you can dump whatever document that you have. If you look at it right now, it says upload source, and it accepts documents like PDFs or text documents or even audio files, if you see right there. You can also put Google Docs on there, or even just drop in a website link, right? Or you can just copy something directly from a page and paste it in here. And what it does with that information is it creates essentially a textbook. So what I've done on my own, and I'll just show you a folder here. I went to the Prophet River website. Let me see if I can grab my folder, and I just downloaded these files. So I downloaded this from this page right here. If I can find, yeah, so right there. So I think some of these files was basically explaining some of the benefits and scholarships and incentive programs. And again, it's just text that's just too long for me to read. So if I actually had a specific thing I was looking for in these documents, I can grab all of that, download that, and dump it into Notebook LM, which I've already done. So with this, I can ask questions like, and this is not the difference between this and the other one was that's just looking at the entire internet. So the answer might vary, but if you wanted to ask questions based on something very specific, like those documents, then you use something like Notebook LM. So if I said, okay, if I am studying, or if I intend to study for my bachelor's, what benefits can I receive? And then it's going to go through all those documents these 2 documents I attached, and it will tell you all the information here. So it will say the eligible expenditure for graduation funding includes incentive of $1,500, clothing of $300, pictures $200, dinner for $300, and then more details. And it will also give you the source. So it would tell you exactly where in those documents it picked up these pieces of information. Right. So you can see how this could be very useful. Again, if you have large documents with information that you want to get from there, maybe you want to get it from, instead of pouring through like 5 different documents, you can just throw everything in here, and you can ask questions, and it will streamline all the information from those documents to answer the question or the request that you put forward. So
in other words,
that's
it'd be an expert, yeah. And
yeah,
it becomes the expert in whatever you put it into.
exactly. And one other more interesting thing as well is you can use it to create podcasts. essentially. So it would be, so right now I've done this off screen just to save some time. So with this, you can click, so it's generated this podcast. I'm going to click and play. Simon, let me know if the audio comes through, okay?
Yep. Nope.
Nothing. Oof. Okay.
Yeah, I might need to share a tab, I think, still within Zoom.
Okay, let me try that.
Oh, there is when you share, there's an option on the right side to click sound share. It's defaults off, so you might have to click that first.
Oh, I see it now. Okay. There we go. Okay, let's try this again.
And we've got
How
two
about
of
now?
their policy. Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to be looking at the
Simon?
Prophet River
Yeah.
First Nation,
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
and we've got two of their policy documents: the Education Other Safety Tickets Policy and the Incentives, Awards, and Graduation Policy. And I have to say, I'm pretty impressed just at a glance.
Yeah, what's striking is how they go beyond just financial aid. I think, you know, it really shows a deep understanding of the challenges and opportunities unique to the PRFN community.
Yeah, let's start with that first one, the Education Other Safety Tickets Policy. It looks like this policy is kind of like filling in the gaps for things that, you know, other programs might not be covering.
Yeah, exactly. I think
So I'm going to pause. I'm not going to play the whole thing. It's like 17 minutes, right? But you can see how useful this is, right? So instead of, let's say you were on the go. For example, Simon is a lot of time is on the road, right? So for someone that's on the go, you can just take the information and just listen to it, and it's in a very engaging way as well. Right? You can hear people talking about it, discussing nuances about the policies, and that way you can ingest the information more easily. So that's another way to go about, again, research and just getting information from multiple documents. Another tool I think as well with research that's super important, and this is more direct, so and it's more so getting information from the internet, is Perplexity. So with Perplexity, it's essentially just it's like Gemini, or sorry, Claude that I just showed you, but it's more so interpreting what you're giving it, but going directly to the internet as opposed to relying on its own memory of the information, right? So I can say, when did humans travel to the moon?
And guys, just so you know kind of where this technology is going, I'd be willing to bet within a year or two, this will be the mode of search. Google search is going the way of the dinosaur. This is the new Google search. It's much better. It's just much more powerful.
Agreed. Because if you went through Google search, you're going to see Wikipedia, you're going to see all different sources, and you have to go through each of the different sources, you know, Wikipedia or whatever the website you land on to find the information you're looking for. While with this, it gives you the information directly, it just tells you, okay, here is the dates in bold, right? Apollo 8, December 21st to 27, 1968, right front and center, right? And then it also gives you sources. So if you were doing this for, let's say, for research or to write a paper and get the information that way, at least you have the sources to back up, you know, whatever claim, or also to confirm that the information that's being served to you is accurate as well. So this one, Perplexity, super useful, super powerful. Another
Especially if you're
one,
in university, you have to do all the citations. You have to put.
exactly.
And
That's
while
why I go ahead.
I was going to say, while you're on this page, AG,
Mhm.
Perplexity has added it's called Deep Research tool. And this
Yes.
would be applicable for business, for entrepreneurial stuff, but also for schools. So it basically is going to create a report for you on any topic you want. So we don't have to show you that whole process, but basically it's within the same screen, same dashboard, and you do exactly what Deji is doing here. You just select the deep research option, and now it's going to go out,
That's it.
pull
Right there.
information, and create a custom report for you on any topic you want.
Yeah, and to add to that, these reports are actually quite comprehensive. It can be a 10-page report, right? So it takes its time, makes sure it gets you all the information that you need and puts it into one document. Okay. The other one, I showed this yesterday, and I'm always impressed whenever I use this tool because it's just crazy how easy it is nowadays with something like this, which is Gamma. This is what we use to create the slides as well for the presentation. So it's as simple as with a lot of these tools, just telling it exactly what you want, and it just delivers magically, essentially. So with this, you just come here, click on generate, and I would like to get. I'm actually not even sure what to search. I'm not sure if anyone has um, any suggestion
Can
of
you
what to
give me
generate.
a presentation on the history of sticky notes, like the sticky
Okay.
notes on the wall? Yeah. And
Ask why they're so overpriced.
there you go. Yeah.
This is the question that's kept me up for many nights. Hmm. Okay, so it's giving me the chapter. So it's going to talk about this topic and this point and this point and this. Okay, now it's time for me to choose a design. I'm going to take a look and see what I like here. I don't like any of those ones, so I'm going to go something
Sticky note theme.
sticky note theme indeed. This looks like the sticky note theme to me. Let me see if there's anything else. This isn't bad as well as a sticky notes. You know what? I'm going to stick to, no pun intended. I'm going to stick to the one we had earlier. This one, vanilla. Okay,
Of
let's click on
course,
that,
gotta be yellow.
and let's click on select. So that's selected, and I'm going to skip over these ones and just go straight to generate. And then this, again, the speed at which this works is always blows my mind.
While the text is being generated, the images are being generated at the same time. It
Mhm,
really is magic. It feels like magic. Yeah.
Even the
exactly.
graphs too. I think it can't be
Mhm,
understated how powerful those graphs are because most human beings are very visual in learning, and the fact that they have specific pictures that match what you're talking about. It knew what Deji was talking about. It didn't search it, and these, if I understand and remember correctly, these are original images
They're
that
already the
they,
one of one
yeah,
images. They don't
yeah,
exist
they
anywhere
don't
else.
exist anywhere. So this is
Hmm.
an original image that it created on the fly because Deji said post-it notes or sticky wall, whatever. Like
Hmm.
that's I'm sorry, I get a little excited about this, but that's insane because it
Hmm.
knows it preemptively um, anticipates and creates a whole uh, uh, presentation just on a few lines of wording here.
Can you scroll down to
Exactly.
you have looks like this one here. They created
That's cool.
a
That is
world map
cool.
using sticky
Yeah,
notes. That's
that's
again, that is an
Hmm.
original image that
Yep.
the AI just decided to come up with on its own.
Exactly. And it's also on a sticky notes. I just want to point that out as well. The whole
Wow.
map is but yeah, so super powerful. Not to even take away from the beautiful presentation itself, like just to the answer itself to that question that Calvin brought up is actually quite interesting in itself, right? It was created by accident. I didn't know this before.
Yeah.
And also the color was just by chance because they used scrap paper that was available, right? I just
Oh.
saw that as well. And then Simon, what was the thing that you were curious about? The
The
price.
next slide here, price paradox.
Yes, let's see.
Hmm.
Okay, okay. I mean, so they're claiming like research and development, and their paper, their adhesive is specialized. Sure. I'm not sure if if it justifies the price, but yeah, we'll go with that. But yeah, so again, beautiful presentation. I mean, I know myself, I couldn't make a presentation as beautiful as this by myself. And you're not stuck with what is presented to you, right? I can take this out and say, you know what, I don't want any of this. I can delete that. I can write my own gibberish, and then like it's completely editable, and you can replace the images as well, right? If you want, said, I don't actually know what, I don't want to even mess up that image. I'm going to save that. It's too precious. But let's say this one. I think it's expendable. So if I wanted to take this, I can remove the image entirely, and then I can bring my own image and put that in there, right? It's completely
Generate a brand new one.
customizable. Exactly. Or create a brand new one, right? You can say,
Wrong section. You'll
um,
hit
I think it's the paint. Yeah, might be
which one is it?
it might be the paint what do they call it? Not a paint tray. The
Not add an image. Oh no, no,
try
that's
add image. Try add image. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
yeah. Generate.
Okay.
But you can actually go in, I know, and write in the prompts the exact image.
Exactly the image you want, right? Yeah.
Oh.
Think don't remember what section that was. But anyways, I don't want to spend too much time on this one. Because again, it works and I wouldn't change a thing personally. So I'm trying to preserve this as much as possible. But yeah, that's Gamma. So again, super impressive use of AI. Another thing I was looking to show off as well, this is more so on when we're going to see the more entrepreneurial side of things, is um, image generation tools. So using AI as well, you can create, just like it's, it was done in this presentation app, you can actually do that. You can actually create images on your own using AI, and just there are tools that are just focused on that alone. So what I did earlier, I was actually just playing around with this, and I said, create a flat design logo of a spiral dragon for a basketball team, very sporty and graffiti-esque, right? From these design renditions, I'll probably go with this one for my basketball team, right? So it knows the job and it did it well. If anyone, even in the audience, has a particular prompt in mind or a particular thing that you'd like me to visualize, I can also throw that up there.
Are you gonna touch on the product photography or
Yeah, for
conceptual stuff?
absolutely. So this leads into that. So if you create
Okay.
a logo in here, you can then use that on your product. And so let me just actually show what Calvin is talking about. So this is Flare. So
Sorry
I'm
guys,
gonna
if you were focused on the logo, I was excited to see Deji's presentation on this because I've not used this myself. We're all learning from each other, and this is the first time I'm seeing this too, so I'm keen to get his walkthrough on that.
just gonna go back to the home page so I can show you. Okay, good. So this is the home page of Flare. So unfortunately, it does take a while to render. So I'm not going to do a real time display of how it works, but I'll just show you the functionality just as an overview, and then you can play with this on your own. Of course, we'll share the link with you as well, probably in the chat, so you can find your way to the app. So this is free. It gives you some free credits, and a lot of these tools, like I said earlier, do give you some free credits, or there's some sort of freemium model. So with this one, it's based around product photography. So you can actually, number one, create models. So you can create the model that let's say the product in this case is a hat, or let's say it's a t-shirt. You can design the model that you want to showcase your product, right? You can change the ethnicity, you can change the gender, you can change the skin tone, and then you just click and generate. So let's say male, Hispanic, tan, sure, generate. So this is for the designing the human model that you want to showcase, let's say the basketball jersey that I'm designing.
While Deji's doing this, I know we're running up on time here as usual. We tend to go over, but if you guys have any questions, feel free to even type it in the chat. I'll be paying attention to the chat, and we'll try to answer as many questions to be time sensitive. But also feel free to raise your hand, interrupt us. As much as I enjoy talking to these two guys, I also like talking to other people. So
For sure. I would actually, so I'll skip through this really quickly as well, because just for the sake of time. So what I was trying to showcase with this is for product photography, you can actually design a product shoot scene, right? So a scene like this, this is the end product, but you actually can customize the individual items that are here. You can say, okay, instead of a yellow container, you can change that to a bottle. You can change the other props as well. So this is just, you can change the other products, like I say, with wavy fabrics, and change the background to shores, sunlight streaming down. And then you can also replace the reference image. So let's say I had my AirPods that I wanted to show as the reference image, or a basketball. I can upload that and it would fit it into the scene, into one cohesive product photography scene, right? So like I said, this does take a little while. It has to render like a couple times through. So I wouldn't do this on here, but just something that you can do afterwards and play around with
I don't
designs
know,
for
man.
your
It's
businesses.
looking pretty quick to me. It almost looks like it's done.
Oh no, like I said, you have to do it multiple times
Oh, okay, okay.
because it never gets it right the first time.
Oh, to find a
But
good
yeah,
one.
but
Okay.
yeah, but even this, I mean, this is the first rendition, so it's, I mean, this is one view of it. So this is the sun streaming down. Again, usually with this, I have to do it multiple times to get the image right.
Fair enough.
Okay, so I'm gonna pass it over back to Simon, or was it?
Yeah, so what Simon and I were wanting to do was to just quickly create a story, just to show you conceptually from start to finish how you can implement this right away. This is just for your own personal interest, like Simon and I were talking about. We've created stories for ourselves for fun, whatever. It could be for a younger sibling, for yourself, for kids, what have you. So. Simon, if you don't mind, why don't you pull up ChatGPT
Sure.
and I think we can both share at the same time now.
I'm not sure.
Let me try to share my screen as well, just so we can do this in real time.
Want me to explain kind of where we're going with the story here?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess just before I do that, I'll mention, what I said yesterday, and one of the key things we want to hopefully you guys can take home with you is, with the creative side of the stuff, really, I want to encourage you guys to let your imagination kind of guide you on this stuff. And the one of the amazing powers of AI, I guess, is that it can fill in the blanks for you. It can take an idea in any direction you want it to. It can even give you ideas in the first place. So really, yeah, I just want to emphasize, like whatever you can imagine, whatever you want to create, let the AI can be, your kind of co-pilot in the creation process. So what I did here, I'll just quickly kind of overview the prompt that I've set up here before I send it off. So before I wrote this out, I had ChatGPT give me some ideas for some stories. This is the idea that we went with. I'm going to quickly read this to you here. So, a young artist facing creative block discovers an online forum where people trade dreams. For a price, they can experience the dreams of strangers. At first, it's an exciting escape until they receive a dream that feels too real, like a forgotten memory. So, yeah, so what I'm going to ask for it to do is, for each section of this story that it's going to write for us, create the actual story, number one, create a Midjourney prompt. So this is an image generation AI. So create a prompt that we can run through our image generation AI to create an image for each part of the story. And then lastly, just for fun, let's create some song lyrics for each section of this story. And we're going to create a little bit of a musical kind of representation of our story as well. And
Do you mind changing that to Stable Diffusion?
sure. And if we have time, I would love to show you how to turn this story into a comic book, or a graphic novel. So that's something I've been playing around with as well. That's really fun. And that would be just another layer that we can add here. So I'm gonna press enter. Cal, you can tell a bit about your side while this generates.
Yeah, so they're gonna have to switch over our screens actually, because I guess Zoom has a different setting where at the top, yeah, I don't know if you guys can see my screen. Do you see it right now, Simon?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Just to close the loop or to finish up what we were doing earlier. So I was trying to generate a video, and for whatever reason I couldn't save it, so I thought I would try something different. I created a penguin, combined it with a dragon, and then I took it into Sora because Pika just wasn't working. I wanted to get going, but Sora or Pika Labs works as well. And the prompt I just put was bird dragon howling at the air. And I'll just show you this really quickly. Like this is the first. That's a bit laggy. Sorry, folks. Try it again here.
How is it on your end?
It's laggy,
pretty. Oh, it's like
unfortunately.
as well. Okay.
Yeah, I can't blame it on the connection. It's just, oh, this one's on it. There we go. It's a little bit better. Uh, so with better prompts and you want to direct it, you can create images, brand new images, or you can upload existing images and bring them to life. If you have old images of this one, I generated an image of this ancient Sumerian warrior, and I had him raise a sword. This one I didn't have a picture beforehand. This one is a bit more, quote unquote realistic. This is not a photo I took. I just asked Sora in this case to create an image of a man. And so this is pretty realistic in my opinion. I mean, if you were a trained expert, you might notice some flaws, but the hands look okay. Yeah, the image generation, the technology is getting really good. So it's something to keep an eye out if any of you guys are interested in creating videos, for yourself, for your business, just however you want to do it. And before actually we finalize on that too, I did want to show one last thing since I already have the soapbox here. It was this one is something you can bring home to your friends and family. I was this is one thing I used to impress all my grandparents and people of that generation. So you can actually take black and white photos and they'll colorize it for you. So for example, let's take a picture of Gandhi when he was young, and they'll process it and let's just wait here 1 second here. Oh, okay. Let's take a little. Oh, here we go. So for anyone who knows how difficult colorizing photos is, this is quite a feat that you can do this immediately. And so I actually had some old photos of my father from the 60s that were in black and white. And I was showing him and his cousins, bringing it to life. So I'll add, just like I've put everything else into the chat, I've added the link. But if you want to go home and you have some old photos of your grandparents or of whatever that's close to you, you can throw it in, show it to them, and they'll be blown away. You can take it one step further and actually go into the video component that we've shown here, either Pika Labs, Pika or Sora, and you can actually bring that to life. Of course, you might want to be cautious because some people don't necessarily want to see old images brought to life. It might scare them, but it's really cool if they're interested in that. So just some really cool, fun applications if there's someone historically that you wanted to see come to life, even if it's a painting, because we have what do you call it? Photos of or paintings of people in the past that we didn't have photos of, and you can bring it to life. Okay. Sorry, I was going to grab that prompt from you, right, Simon?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, sorry. Is that what we're talking about? I got lost down a rabbit hole of it.
Which prompt did you?
Nerd tools. Just whatever. Do you want to share your screen again just to show them our workflow and how we're going about this, and then maybe, yeah, copy it into the meeting notes or into the chat box there.
Yeah, sure. So this is, oops. I got to stop sharing for just a sec here.
We'll stop sharing as well so that
okay, so there's the prompt in the chat, and now I will show you what ChatGPT came up with here for us. Hopefully you can see my screen. So like I said, I asked for a few different pieces for each section of the story that it wrote for us. So just to give you an example here. So this is the first section, the discovery. So when our character, stumbles upon this dream exchange where you can buy and experience other people's dreams. So here's the actual story. So this is the first chapter, say, in our story. The second piece is our Stable Diffusion prompt. So this is what we're going to run through our image generation software to create the image. And then lastly, we have some song lyrics that we're going to use to create a little bit of a fun jingle for our story. And then it does the same thing for each of the different sections of the story. So there's, I think, four sections, 5 sections that we can play around with here. So I can jump into this if we're ready to do that, Cal.
Yeah, sorry, I was so captivated by your your description. I forgot to start generating a photo, but I'm doing it right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll share my screen though.
Okay.
I guess one of the takeaways too is people use ChatGPT often just as a search tool, or they use it um, to do some, editing of their resume, which again is very useful. But what Simon did was kind of very smart, because he also asked it to create a prompt. Because as he was creating that story, I was thinking, okay, what should I write for a prompt? And Simon took it a step further and said, well, why don't you create a prompt for us too for the story? And that's a very small thing, and it saved me a bunch of time rather than trying to think. I don't know if this is. Let's try different. I used the 80s photo just to make it kind of dreamlike. A young artist faced. Is this the
This is the
prompt?
story outline, so I can give
Oh,
you
no,
a
no, no. Yeah,
prompt.
that's what you put in the prompt. Or that's what you put in the chat.
Yeah. Here's another one.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. This is better. Oops.
So I'll read this out loud while you're doing that. So a surreal dreamscape with floating crystalline cities, shifting impossible architecture, and skies that ripple like water. The colors are ethereal, glowing softly in neon hues. A lone figure stands in the foreground, paintbrush in hand,
Wow.
staring at the shifting world before them.
Wow. Amazing.
It's really deep.
That is really cool. You guys are seeing my screen,
It's a
right?
cool photo. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
cool photo.
This is really cool. And again, going back to the fact that, people say that AI isn't creative. I definitely would have not come up with a story. And even the concept of
What's
a
the
story.
prompt?
It's in the
What's the
chat.
prompt for that?
Yeah.
Chat.
And he put it in the chat as well if you want to take a look. Yeah. And so rather than trying to figure out the prompts, Simon went a step further and actually just had ChatGPT generate a prompt for us. So I didn't have to sit there and think and create
Can
this.
we real time alter this one?
Sorry. Yeah, this one was real time. I just
Okay, let's alter it then.
Yeah,
Put it
yeah, go for it.
put like futuristic, in addition to futuristic, like the civilization's moving into another ice age and people have to live semi in the ground, but still like the same sort of scape.
Could you actually throw that into ChatGPT, Simon? What you were saying, and create a prompt for me?
Levi, can you type that out? Just drop it in the chat.
Yeah, in the chat.
And then, well, Cal, you can work on that. I'm gonna if you can stop sharing your screen as well. I'll show the lyrics, the song generation while you're working on that.
Cool. Yeah.
So let me know when you can see my Suno screen, guys.
Yeah, it's up.
Yep.
Awesome. So Suno, suno.com. This is basically free. I've never run into any usage limits on this one. So it can be super simple. You can just use a basic text prompt and it'll create lyrics for you and create the style for you. What we're going to do is hit this custom button. So we get a little bit more customization here. And since I already have lyrics, right? So this was generated by ChatGPT for our story. I'm going to insert our lyrics, and I can even say what kind of music it is. Let's say ethereal, just because they use that word, ethereal, and that's fine. So we'll just do that. So we're going to hit create, and for every single creation, it actually gives you 2 songs, so you can compare them. Usually, what I'll do is I'll generate a few, and then I have 6 or 8 different songs for each one that I can pick from. It's pretty quick, so these should be ready in a second. I'm gonna make sure I have my sound sharing so you guys can hear what I'm doing. And they're ready to play. So let's check these out. Waiting for the lyrics.
Drifting pulse in neon light.
That's the first one. Pretty on target for what we were looking for. I think it fits the story.
That's pretty cool.
Colors pulse in neon light. Whispers echo through the air, calling me from nowhere.
There we go.
I vote for this one.
All right, so let's download this one. So to do that, we just go to the three little dots. We go download. Right now, it's not ready for me. It's still generating the rest of the song. So in a minute or two, we'll be able to download that MP3. Okay, so Levi added that revised prompt. Did you get that, Cal?
No, I don't see it.
It's
In
in
the
the
chat? Oh,
oh,
wait.
he might have sent it to me directly.
I think it's direct. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I kind of actually got the gist of it, and I threw it into ChatGPT myself. I'll do it right. Let me share my screen again here real quick. Oh,
Okay, see you later. Love you. Oh, I don't think Justin drinks, but I will.
Ooh, okay.
yeah. So this was
The second one was very nice.
yeah. So I took the original prompt and I asked ChatGPT to add a futuristic ice world, or where the future is
What?
humanity underground. This one's really cool. I like this. I might actually save this one for myself.
Mm.
Wow, this is really cool. Huh. Okay. Neat.
You want to pass it back? I ran the prompt that Levi
Oh, did you? Okay. Let's see.
into Midjourney, and
Mhm.
I think it's consensus at this point that Midjourney is the best image generation model. So we'll see the difference here in the style as well as the quality. So let me know what you guys think here. This is what it came up with.
Ooh.
I actually like the one I did better. I might be biased because it's the one I did, but I I like mine better.
The different styles. The other one was more airbrushed, and
Oh.
I think ethereal. Yes, it definitely
sitting
fits
in
that.
the middle like a diplomat.
Yeah, like a diplomat. But
I
no, this
like
is more
both.
it's more detailed though.
Yeah.
This is more
They're
detailed.
both
Yeah.
fantastical.
And
Love you, bye.
So in terms of remixing and modifying, so one tool within Midjourney that you can do that really easily is this vary function. So we're going to vary it, and we can just change the prompt entirely. So we can just say on the moon. Okay, just a random thing that came into my head there. And now it's going to use the same kind of style of image, but maybe turn this hopefully into like a moonscape version of this image. Super simple. And also another one while we're here, this is one of my favorite tools within Midjourney is vary region. So now say we don't want bison. I'm going to circle this. That's a really bad circle. Circle this, and we're just going to say, let's do a dolphin. Well, that would be on land, so that wouldn't make sense. Let's do a bear.
Do it on land.
A land dolphin. All right. Okay, here we go. So this is the version on the moon. So it didn't replicate all the same ideas. It didn't bring everything over because I did the strong variation, which is going to heavily weight my prompt versus the original image. So that's why I changed it more than maybe we wanted to. So what I maybe would have done there is do very subtle. And I'm going to try that while we're waiting for the other one. On the moon, and that'll show you the difference between the subtle variation and the strong variation using the same text prompt. Here, I do not see any bears. So it just removed the bison entirely. That happens sometimes with the vary region function. It's not perfect. So I would just run that same thing again. I would hit vary region, and maybe I'll be more specific. And I'm going to say
dolphin. Land dolphin.
Land dolphin.
Dolphin, because why not? And one more. Let's do, just to see if we can get a bear. Let's do a polar bear. with sharp teeth, just to give it a little bit more ammunition here to work with. But I love the floating islands. That's pretty surreal. Okay, let's see what else we got.
I still think mine looks better.
On the moon. Okay, so now we have some kind of cyberpunk elements here to our original image. Not exactly what I asked for, but pretty cool.
A little
That's
space. Salvatore Dali. Speaking of Dali.
Yeah, that's right.
Can we add cyberpunk?
Oh, absolutely we can.
Yeah, let's do it.
Absolutely we can.
Add
So let's
prompt of cyberpunk style, futuristic cyberpunk city.
Stick city. Okay.
Oh, I was gonna say keep the underground ice world theme. See if we can.
So I was unsuccessful with the polar bear. So this is maybe a good way to demonstrate the limitations of these models. They're not perfect, right?
I wouldn't say limitations. It's more like you just have to try because, it's sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. In the same way that if you sketch something, you have to just sketch it a few times to get the perfect.
Yeah, true.
The fact it created an image out of nothing is already just mind-blowing.
All right, here's our cyberpunk version. What do you guys think?
Oh,
I love this.
That's pretty good.
It kept the elements of the cliff. It kept the ice to some degree.
And these floating islands are now spaceships or space stations of some kind.
Mm-hmm.
This one might be my favorite. It's the largest kind of deviation from the original, but I really love this style here.
Just give it.
Let's save some of those. Those are cool.
I can send them all. I'll download them all. Save them. Levi, your audio is cutting today. Well, it's a little bit choppy.
I'm on the move.
Okay. I was also going to add actually that with that you can actually prompt with images as well. So let's say if you really wanted a polar bear, you can grab a picture of a polar bear from Google and then add the prompt of what you described.
Not to be outdone, I went ahead and created a prompt too for my stable diffusion here. I threw it back into ChatGPT. Now we get the underground city Icescape, and now it's got the cyberpunk elements to it. Wow. I still think mine is better. I'm just getting very biased, but it looks cool, man. I like the stylization better. And I through here, I selected 1980s photo. I'm sure you could like try 1940s photo and see how they'll generate it. This one's a little bit more user-friendly. Midjourney, which Simon was showing you, requires a bit more prompting. Like you want to use, let's say, language to say in the prompt, you would just say, make it in the style of a 1940 photo. So it's not like you have to use this. The other Midjourney is just as good and produces better quality images, but I'm pretty pleased with this. Like 1940s, this is kind of the art style. 40s, what they call the propaganda posters they used everywhere. That sort of art form. So,
Carl, this platform that you're showing us is completely free, right?
Yeah, this one's completely free. Don't need to pay anything. Someone just, I guess they ran Stable Diffusion on their own server, and so this is available for everyone. Don't have to sign up even. Don't have to do anything. So that's why I picked this one specifically. So anyone wants to try right away, they can let their.
What model is this called? The Perchance? I've never heard of this one. I like that kind of style. It's very interesting.
Yeah, and that's why I thought this one's kind of nice because it does a little hand holding where it helps you a little bit, like, okay, what style you want it to do in let's say soft anime. I don't know what that specific is, but it helps you kind of get going if you've not used AI image generation for the first time. Okay, so this has got more elements. This one's more
mecha art,
I would say. Yeah, these two. Yeah.
So Levi, just to clarify, the model is actually called Stable Diffusion. This is just the website that is hosting it for free. So the Stable Diffusion is one of the originals, if not the original AI image generation, and it's a little bit not user-friendly to use. You have to download the model and install it. So these websites kind of just provide a super easy access to them.
For free, yeah.
And if you're done there, Cal, anytime you're ready, I can move on to the next section.
I'm gonna drop the share.
Yeah, no, yeah, don't want to rush you, but I know we're
No, it's fine. I know we're heavily going over time.
yeah, exactly. We could be on here till midnight. But
Usually are.
okay. So the next thing, I'm just going to share my entire screen here now. I'm going to get a mirror at first. Okay. So remember how we created a story, an actual piece of written content for each section of our story. So there's a few things we can do with this now, right? So it really depends on what you want to create. So if we just want to create a story, of course, we could just drop this text into a Word document, and now we have the beginnings of a short story or a novel. We talked a little bit about on Wednesday, I think, audiobooks. And what I'm going to do is show you 11 Labs. So this is the tool I used to create the narration in our Extinct Animals video. But this has a lot of other great functionality. I just copy and pasted that piece of that short story here into 11 Labs. And I've chosen a voice that I want to use for this narration. His name is Clyde. You might not be able to hear them. Can you guys hear this?
I'd rather regret the things that I've done.
No?
No, I can hear it. Yeah.
You can? Awesome. Okay. So that's just the sample of his voice. So what we're going to do now is we're going to generate basically a piece of an audiobook using this short story that we've created.
Let's use the voice Daniel. He sounds like he might be a bit of a nerd.
He's a British guy, so he's good for like documentaries. So let's check
The
him
world
out.
is round, and the place, which may seem like the end, may also be the beginning.
Perfect.
Sounds like David Attenborough.
Yeah. So this would be exactly for this is probably the voice I should have used for the documentary, the animal documentary. But let's use Daniel. So really, it is as simple as pressing generate speech, and it's gonna convert this into audio for us.
Kara sat before her blank canvas, frustration curling through her fingers like smoke. She had felt it before, the slow, creeping weight of a creative block, but never this severe. Her art once flowed like a second language, but now it was silence.
So what you can do, there's this section here called Studio. You can actually create a proper audiobook where you have multiple voices for each of the different characters. So that's where it gets really fun. And for those of you who have listened to audiobooks, these narrators are extremely skilled in their ability to kind of act as different characters. But at the end of the day, it's not as good as having unique characters for each voice. So it's really, really fun. I've spent a lot of time on this recently. So anyone who's into audiobooks and more just auditory experience for their stories, 11 Labs is absolutely the leader for text to speech, and it's just a lot of fun. So I'd really recommend that. Another thing that I can show you using the same exact text or the same exact story, I guess, is graphic novels. So what we'll do now, because in my ChatGPT here, I didn't really create any of this for the purpose of generating a graphic novel. So what I can do is say, hey, ChatGPT, I want to use this story to create a graphic novel. Please do that. I'm not even going to be specific with it. It is just going to, it knows what to do essentially, right? So it knows what a graphic novel, how it's formatted. And it's going to give me specific instructions even as to how to structure my panels and my narration boxes, my text bubbles. So again, we're letting the AI do all the heavy lifting here for us. So there is going to be a little bit of manual work involved to actually create the graphic novel. So there's a piece of software called Comic Life. I think you guys can see my screen right now. So this is I believe there is a cost to this, but you get 30 days for free. So you can play around with this for a month and really just get a feel for how this works and have some fun with it. So you have some templates here. So what kind of style of comic book you want to create. Let's grab something maybe dreamlike, because our story is dreamlike. What do you guys, you see anything jumping out at you? This one's kind of cool. Maybe this one's more spooky.
That's good.
Okay. So yeah, so here we go. It creates all the panels for us, and you can. So this is kind of where the work, the manual work comes in. You still have to kind of drag and drop your text, your speech bubbles, and get a feel for how this software works. But it's pretty straightforward, right? So we want to create a new panel. We can just drag and drop another panel over here. So now we have 3 pages. See, you can swap between our pages. So let's just do one page or even a couple panels here just to show you what this looks like. So we already have some images. Let's grab some of our images here. So I'm going to go with my favorite here, the third one. So we've upscaled it. So now this is a high quality, high resolution image. We select it, we download it. Downloads right here. And now we hop over into our Comic Life, and I don't know how to import, so I'm just going to drag and drop. I assume dragging and dropping is easy to do. Oh, so it decided to put it in black and white. That's fine. This image doesn't look great, to be honest. So let's use this one here, little cartoon character that I created. And we already have our instructions from ChatGPT. So I can just go here and say, I want to use this, copy, and we would just paste this here. That's probably not the best place for it. So we probably put this here, make this box a little bit bigger.
What's the sound from?
Sound effects.
Yeah, it's a stretching sound. You can drag and drop all these. You can say my graphic novel and Kara's thought bubble. This can't be real, can it? So we're going to copy that. We're going to go over here, paste it. There you have it. So we are already in the process of creating our own completely unique graphic novel. And we're letting AI really handle most of the work here. So yeah, so I guess just to kind of wrap up my portion here, that was kind of mainly what I want to show you guys is, yeah, you can create whatever you want to create, and there are tools out there to do it. So don't feel limited around what you can create with these tools. And yeah, if you have any questions, maybe now's the time to jump in, and otherwise I can pass back over to Cal or Deji.
Yeah, well, I think we've heavily gone over our time here. We're going to do this one more time on Sunday. It's sort of open to anyone that wants to jump in. Levi, I'm sure you can promote that as well. And it'll just be a nice opportunity for anyone who has any follow-up questions from the last 3 days here. And hopefully we can address some of your questions. If there's something you want to produce specifically, we'd be more than happy to play around and help you actually design your thing specifically. So I think that's it for all of us. I really appreciate everyone tuning in, sticking around. Yeah, we look forward to seeing you guys on Sunday. If there's any further questions, feel free to pass it on in the chat or pass it on to Levi, and he'll direct you.
Oh yeah, you guys did great. Thanks for all the help as always, and looking forward to dive into this more. I know this was like a kind of a off the cuff thing, but you guys did a great job, and really proud of what you've been able to accomplish so far.
Thanks.
Right on.
Thank you,
Thanks for
Levi.
the opportunity, Levi.
Thank you, Levi. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna log off here.